Hello, BookTube. This is Aaron from Aaron Read a Book or Aaron Read a Book. I am in a slightly different position than I used to be because I've moved my desk and I always film at my computer desk, and it's weird. I'm looking at the wrong side of the phone, so sorry if my eyes wander. Um, yeah. So uh, about 6 months ago or so, I did a video on the um, 10 biggest books on my TBR, and uh, that was quite easy to find because it's a lot easier to not read massive books. But I thought I'd do the opposite and do the 10 smallest books on my TBR as well, and encourage you all to um, make me read them, which should be easier than the biggest ones. I should actually revisit the biggest one and see how many of those big ones I've read, um, because it might be zero, but we'll have a look. Anyway, let's go through 10 small books, physically small books that are on my TBR. I have been for a while. This one was harder to find books for as well because I just tend to read the small ones straight away. The first book I've got is The Wind, Sand and Stars by Anton de Saint. I don't know how to say his last name, Oxbury. But he wrote The Little Prince, which is one of the highest selling books of all time, and I've read The Little Prince and I love it. But this is the Little Prince is actually based on a true story. He was a pilot in World War Two, I think. Was it World War One? One of the world wars. He was a pilot, and he actually went missing and was never found. And I think that was in World War Two. I think he wrote in between the wars. Actually, I've just checked when this was published. Yeah, so he was demobilized until his demobilization in 1923. So he was World War One pilot. So probably not as reliable. And this is meant to be a really nice book about him crash landing in the desert and his experiences there, which is obviously big influence for um, the Little Prince. So the second book that I'm going to talk about is I've actually got two copies of this one, so that's doubly bad, which is Antigone by Sophocles. I've got the I think this is in the free Phoebian plays as well, which I've also got. So I uh, I really need to read it because I've got two editions. I've got another play called Antigone as well, which is from like 1945, which I bought by accident when I was trying to buy this. So I've got, I've got like three copies of plays called Antigone. I always hear really good things about these plays, but I, I don't know. I've just never got around to reading them, and I think my reading of ancient classics has got a lot better over the last sort of 5 years. So, but I've never read an ancient play. I've also got what's the other one? The Strada. I don't think that's not Sophocles, but I've got that on Kindle as well. So um, I should I should really get and read some of these old plays I've got, and this will obviously take like an hour. So I should maybe I'll read this today. Uh, put down in the comments if you like that play. Um, Next one is by an author I love a lot, but um, I've only read four of their books, which is Hilary Mantel, and this is her book Flood. It's a very strange cover. What's this one about? Set in the fictitious village of Featherington, buried in the northern moorland. Mantell's cleverly absorbing novel centres on the sheltered community's relationship with the church, which bears some but not much resemblance to the Roman Catholic Church in the real world. Okay, so this is interesting. Mantell was obviously interested in the church, because Wolfhall obviously is about Cromwell and Henry VIII, who were not very nice to the Catholic Church. So this will sort of fit in with that. I've also read Beyond Black by her, which is a very interesting book as well about, and it's like a satirical book about if mediums, as in people who speak to ghosts, actually had real power. So in Beyond Black, it follows a medium, and the ghosts are so horrible and like boring or mean that she sort of pretends to say what they say, but actually she's just making stuff up like any fake medium would. So it's very good Beyond Black. So I'm interested to read more of her works. Tell me if you read Flood. I've heard good things about this. So it's actually not that small as well, but it is under 200 pages, so it would count as a shorty. This one I've had a really long time, and I've never read it, which is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Anichi B. Obviously not getting pronunciations right. So this is a famous African novel. I think this won the Pulitzer or something big. Yeah, this is about an African warrior in West Africa. When he accidentally kills a clansman, things begins to fall apart. So, yeah, I think I've tried. I think I may have started this one once or twice, but never been in the mood for it. Let me know if you're a fan of this one. I have a feeling a lot of people are because it's a very well-known novel, and I probably should have read it by now. It's been on my TBR for many years. I wish I did that thing that other people do where they wrote write in the book when they buy it. I'm just I always forget to do it. But two people have already written their names in this: Mr. P. Lamb, I don't know, or Mrs. P. Lamb, or Miss P. Lamb, and Jacinda Budge. That's a good name. Yes, next we've got a Western. So some of these obviously going to fit in nicely with booktube events like Shorty September, and this one will fit in nicely with June on the Range, if we do June on the Range again, which hopefully we do, because I love June on the Range. Shane by Jack Schaefer. Everyone raves about this book, so I definitely will read it in June, I think. And I like this cover. It's very simple, just a wooden gun. All I know about Shane is the comedian Bill Hicks does a routine about it, and there's a famous film of it, but I haven't seen the film or read the book. So if you like this book, let me know. I remember people in June in the Range like doing rave reviews of it. This one is a bit of a cheat because it's not that small, but it's comparatively small compared to this author's usual novels. So this is the smallest trollop that I haven't read. Cousin Henry. It sounds, well, I'll read some of the back. Henry Jones is an unprepossessing London insurance clerk, knows that his uncle, a modestly wealthy Welsh squire, has disinherited him. The old man's will made out at the last minute in favour of Henry's charming cousin Isabel Broderick. So that's interesting. It's funny how often Victorian books are about wills, aren't they? and mystery novels. It's a very important thing in literature, the will. I like the cover though. It's an interesting sort of facial expression. I love Trollope, and I've never read anything bad by him, so I've only read one small book by him, which was Dr. Wartle's School, and that's really good. But yeah, if you've read Cousin Henry, let me know. Small by Trollope standards. Next, we're going to Russia. I've heard really good things about this book as well, and I've had this one for ages as well. I think I bought this. Uh, oh no, I was going to say I think I bought it when I was reading loads of Russian novels, but I didn't know I have bought it quite recently. So this is a hero in our time, Mikhail Lermontov. I don't really know what it's about. I think it might be about a duel or something. Lermontov's hero picture in as a young army officer posted to the Caucasus when his adventures, amorous and reckless, do nothing to alleviate his boredom and cynicism. World weary and self-destructed, blah blah blah. Yeah, I don't think it is about a duel. It's just about a sort of reckless young army officer, which is a common theme in Russian novels. But it's very short for a Russian novel as well. Normally the Russian novels are big chunksters, but this is less than 200 pages. Right, getting down to the last few here. This one is definitely a booktube made me do it, and it's Rumo the Bailey by John Mortimer, in a very nice condition, Penguin classic. I do remember. I don't think I ever watched it, but I do remember the TV series of this, and I know Steve Donohue's always saying how much he loves Rumo the Bailey, so it made me just pick up the first one when I saw it in a shop. So I don't know if I've ever heard anyone else apart from Steve Donohue talking about them. So if you're a fan of these, let me know. I think they're comical books about a judge, or maybe a lawyer. I think it's probably more likely a lawyer. But yeah, I get the feeling these might be sort of Woodhouseian, and I'm obviously a big fan of Woodhouse. So 75p when it first came out. So that's an old edition. We've got enough non-fiction here, which is Beneath the Heart of the Sea, The Sinking of the Whale Ship Essex by Owen Chase. And Owen Chase was one of the people on the whale ship Essex. My mum bought me this for Christmas or my birthday or something, about last year I think it was. I really liked, what's it called, In the Heart of the Sea, by Nathaniel Philbrook, which is a non-fiction book about the whale ship Essex, and more and sort of quite a lot about the Nantucket whaling industry as well, which is really interesting. And they made a film out of that, which I have not seen. But this is like a first-hand account of the sinking. So that sounds interesting. It's actually like less than 100 pages, so I should be able to read this in one sitting. And this is the inspiration for Moby Dick, or one of the inspirations for Moby Dick as well. It's more the epic story behind the major motion picture, so this must have come out after the film. And the last one is another favourite author of mine, and again it's not terribly small, but I was running out of small things, and that is just a Barbara Pym that I've had for a while and not read, An Unsuitable Attachment. Don't know what this is about, but I'm going to guess it's about old ladies in a village. Wit, warmth, and a deep interest in everyday life. These are the hallmarks of Barbara Pym's writing, set in a quite ordinary North London parish. An Unsuitable Attachment is brimming over with the high comedy for which she is so famous. Yeah, so it's probably very Church of Englandy. I think Excellent Woman is also partially in London, or North London parish. So I used to live in North London, so maybe it's where I lived. But yeah, if you've read this one, I don't know if I've heard many people talk about this one. I think maybe Sean the Book Maniacs read it. But if you read this one, let me know. So those are my smallest books on my TBR booktube. I could just hammer them all out in September, couldn't I? But some of them fit other events. So let's see if I can get through some of these. Let me know what you think of those books. Have a good one, BookTube. Bye bye.